Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett, and I have the privilege of having my good buddy Justin Riley from Upfrog on the show today. And unfortunately, Josh isn't with us. If you are the praying type, keep him in your prayers. His oldest dog is he's taken him to the emergency vet, or her, I'm sorry. And they just can't keep food down or something. I'm not sure 100%, but I hate to hear that because he just had some his other puppy dog passed away. So yeah, so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But I'm happy because I get to have Justin all to myself today. But it's been a long time since we've had Justin on the podcast, and we were just talking about this. It's been like a year ago, and normally, like, we try to commit to having all of our partners on the podcast, like, once a quarter, at least once every other quarter, and it's been like a year, and it's yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's like I feel like we just talked yesterday, but it's just the time flies by so freaking fast. But I'm excited to talk to you today because you also have a new program out that is something that's needed. It was needed a long time ago, and it's going to be something to help out with class action lawsuits to protect you from those lawsuits as a contractor. And we're going to talk a little bit about AI and a little bit about how things are going, even with Upfrog. And so, with that being said, how are you, buddy?
Man, thanks for having me again. And I'm missing Josh. I saw you had this post he did the other day about a check that he got for a speaking engagement. And I don't know whether you wanted to tell everybody, but I thought it was for the AARP conference. I thought that's where he was at today, but it's good to be back, and I feel bad. Like, I talked to Josh earlier and I was like, man, like, that's the worst. That's like a child, and that dog's been with them for years. So if anybody can relate to that, that's a very, very difficult thing to go through. But it's been it has been almost a year since we've been on it. And I love our conversations. They always go longer than we anticipate. And I always enjoy them. And I can tell you from my perspective, I've kind of been watching the background of you and Josh go around and really help this industry on learning this new stuff with AI and all these speaking things and all that. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of jealous. You get to go out and meet everybody and do all these things and travel and, it does. But life's been good. I am almost 2 years as a father now. So
that's exciting.
Man, I'm telling you, it is the greatest and hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
It is, and it's so rewarding though. Like those sleepless nights. There are so many times where I'm like, back then I remember. So Julie was a night shift nurse, and my youngest child is our only daughter, and every night she had this witching hour, and it was from 7 to 8 p.m. Well, Julie
only 1 hour.
But it was the most brutal hour of my life. But it was every single day, like a time clock, for about a year, almost a year. And so she would just scream and just scream.
The hardest thing, I have the most amazing wife who's like this amazing mother, and the hardest thing is like not taking it personally. He's not too, like, he doesn't understand. Like, his brain's like, I saw a Facebook post. It was like his brain processes things like, like he's just like going through life, and like he doesn't. But like, it's like, as a parent, you're trying to do like the best you can, and like, and it's just like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's just you're not doing anything wrong.
Well, that's how I felt, because Julie would go to work, and she would work like 3 days a week, be a night shift nurse, and she would go to work, and as soon as she left to go to work, then Addie was screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, she's our fourth child too, so like I've experienced little ones, but I never experienced one that had a witching hour like that. But now she's the most chill kid out there. But
I've earned so much respect. Like, before, like, growing a business, like a startup is like what I love to do. I really enjoy it. Like, I didn't have kids when I started Upfrog, And it was easy. And like, I would hear these people like talk about this work-life balance with family and this and that. And I was like, this and that. And then like, I realized like how hard it really is. Like, and when we just run a marketing business, like home service businesses that require you like to physically be in another location or serving customers while raising a child, like my dad did that with us. And I never quite understood or really, grasp.
Do you remember us sitting at a round table in Las Vegas?
Yes.
4 years ago, 5 years ago. And we were just talking about this, and you're talking about your dad, and you're like, I just don't understand that. And I was like, Julie and I looked at each other like, yep. One day he's gonna learn.
Yeah. And man, I tell you, a lot of lessons and a lot of respect,
but it's really so rewarding though. It is.
Before I had children, like my goal was to be, the best successful business owner, right? And like now it's like, I just want to be the best dad. And sometimes you have to sacrifice, at least for me, a lot of the traveling, a lot of the things, just because I know how important these first couple of years are. And I just want to get it right. I had such a great upbringing, and I just want to make sure we do that for him. And really it's a team thing. Like, I don't want to let my wife down. Sure. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. Like you go on the road and you hear like him in the background or this or that. And it's like, that kills me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a rough one there. And then whenever you have your child with you and you try and take a client's call, like they have emergencies and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Don't sweat it. Yeah. We all got kids. Like we've all been there. We've all experienced it.
One thing I do like about this administration in the White House, they have brought kids to the forefront of like there's been kids in the Oval Office. There was kids at the inauguration. Like, I think that's really, really cool. And I see other business owners that have kids in the offices and stuff. And it's like, I think that's cool. Like, I really do. Like all they want to do is be included. And do they kind of slow us down? Yeah, but maybe we're supposed to be in certain parts of our life,
That is true. That is so true.
So yeah, business has been wonderful. We're growing. We're deep in the roofing verticals now, and garage door verticals, and HVAC as always. And that's going really, really well. I think that we were lucky. I was telling you earlier, we're lucky at Upfrog because we weren't as googly invested. Like, we're a paid media company for growing, and we're mostly in social media. And
what was that update that happened recently on Facebook?
So Andromeda was like this big. It actually happened over the last like year and a half. They've rolled this out in sequences. And I think October last year was like one of the big abrupt ones. And then there was a latest one here in January last month. Basically, it's 3 different parts, right? You have this Andromeda part, and then you have this thing called Lattice, and you have this thing called GEM. Okay. And it's really what AI did to social media. And what it did is it allowed people to create videos and images at scale. So basically the number of posts and videos, whether it be ads or organic, just exploded, right? So really Andromeda, when people talk about that, is the algorithm that picks and picks different, videos of what to put on the feed, right? The instant auction per person. Yeah. And then you have this thing called Lattice, and then you have this thing called Gem. And Lattice is really the most interesting one to us right now, because it's basically the way that the ad structure and algorithm used to work is that everything was based upon like engagement of your past ads, right? Like, okay, how long did they watch this video? Who engaged with it, right? Did they like, share, comment, those sorts of things, right? Like that was really important, but that was the only data they have. Now, Lattice is like lattice of a fence, you got all these connections, and all it does is it bridges the organic as well as the paid ad structure. So what we're seeing is that the companies that engage in really good organic content.
Well, see, a lot of times we all left away from organic because we weren't getting an engagement on organic content.
Yeah. Well, now, okay, I can tell you that engagement is different than seed audience. So there's a lot of what I call like creeper Facebook people. They don't like posts, they don't share posts, but they love to watch them.
Oh yeah,
right. And I would say that
world burn.
And then everybody's got those people, right? Everybody knows a sharer, right? Like you go on your feed, and like they share everything, right? And then you got your clickers, and then you got your commenters, and then you got your voyeurs, and there's way more voyeurs than anything. So now what they've done, instead of the people that just engaged with your content as far as clicks, shares, things like that, using that as an audience pool. Now they're able to really watch the reels and the viewership and create these personal personas, if you will, of different people. And
Yeah.
media buying has really gotten much more sophisticated than it was in the beginning. It used to be
Like
you could
harder.
run a coupon ad and you could probably get some leads, right? And
Yeah.
now it's more about like the personas of the individuals and stuff, which is really the stuff that interests us at Upfrog, because it's really cool to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, that's the thing that's like I have refused to dive into because I knew if I did, my ADD, like it's a superpower, but it's a hindrance also, because if I start to dive into that rabbit hole, I'm gonna fully immerse myself, and like it, I can't imagine that. And so like I've literally on purpose stayed away from learning the information, and
it's a rabbit hole, man. Like you know, and you keep pulling strings, and then they change it on you, you know, and then they change it, and then you know, I think the most interesting thing that we have seen and what has made us kind of stand out and been really successful lately is recognizing that you know, things we knew all along, that customers that have old systems know they have an old system way before they actually do the repair or the replacement, right? And I would say 90% of all HVAC marketing or home services in general is geared towards the point of failure. And the biggest winners that we have seen are people that are able to market and brand in a successful way to get customers to do an action, whether that be engage with your company, fill out a contact form, do things, or get a price online, right? As an example. And build a relationship before the point of failure. And I think that's so important, because if you're always marketing towards the broken unit or the broken whatever it is, or the repair, that's really expensive nowadays, right? Like it's just, you know, you try and compete on Google AdWords and things like that, or LSAs, or any of the contextual stuff is just so expensive to do. And really you're only going after maybe 5% of the market. Right. And everybody's fighting for that 5%, you know? So, you know, the ability to go and to build a relationship with customers before the point of failure, whether that's through, you know, it starts with, you know, a well-branded company, you know, the brand wraps, the exposure, the local grassroots things, but really have them. That's what's made online pricing so effective, is like everybody always has this assumptions about selling online units, and it's not. Like nothing gets sold online. The idea of online pricing is to create curiosity, to get a consumer to engage with your company, to find out what the price would be if they were to replace, and then to kind of give them a sample of what your business is. Like communicate with them, help them out, maybe do a tune-up for them, so that when the point of failure comes, they're not going to their phone on Google. They're just simply calling the same person they just interacted with.
And think about that though. If you treated the tune-up like it's a nuisance, like, oh, here we go, just tune up. But in reality, even if it's subliminal, like even if they don't realize it, it's ultimately a test of, do I want to trust this company whenever I spend?
Here's one that's gonna ruffle some feathers, right? The people that call in and ask for a price, okay? For so long, and many people think that, oh my God, that's not a customer of mine. We just don't do business with them. If they're going to ask for the price up front, we just won't do business with them.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that, you know, you are really shooting yourself in the foot, right? And whether they choose to your prices or not is, you know, the reason why they're asking that's the only metric they can kind of measure things on until they experience your business. So why not humor them a little bit and try and earn that, right? Because at the end of the day, it's really about, who am I going to trust to do my home services, right? Like the brands that make it safe for a consumer to do business with are the ones that are going to win. And whether that means, you know, because if they don't feel safe, then price becomes an objection instantly. Well, I don't think, you know, they want 100% kind of guarantee that everything's going to work out like you say it's going to. And if they start to see chinks in the armor, then they're going to bring up things like price and all those things. So I really think that build a brand, but build a safe brand for consumers, like, and make the consumer feel safe, because the mind, like that's, if you do that, they don't care what the price is. They really don't, because they feel like it's safe. They're getting good value. They're going to get what they pay for, and it's in equal. And so many people, try to send those customers away, because I think a lot of times is because the techs in the field can't close them or have a hard time closing them. So they don't even want to see them. So it's like head in the sand, just, we won't even talk to those people then. Well, I think that's a really big problem coming into this, because with transparency expanding, I think you're gonna have to figure out how to do business with those people.
How do you change things like that? I mean, because on one hand, we have very young technicians potentially, or when I say young, less experienced technicians. And then and there's a generation there that gets intimidated the first time you ask them a question. They assume it as a roadblock, and in reality, it's just inquisitive. Like, you're just inquisitive.
It's a reaction that, I don't care if your price is 5,000, 10,000, 20, or 30. No one ever likes the price.
Nope.
Okay, it just is what it is, right? Like, nobody ever likes it, and it's a natural customer reaction. I think that looking at the sales process, not in a section of just the tech in the home, but as an entire experience with your business, and the better you can make it. Sometimes our sales guys are just set up to fail. Maybe they didn't get dispatched at the time they wanted. Maybe they didn't get the, or the guy shows up late, or they didn't sound qualified when they took the call. Like, that's a big one. Like, that's why I'm excited about your phone tap is like, if you're able to look at the whole process from the initial journey, like if somebody feels unsafe in the beginning, as in unconfident, okay, that's going to set your sales rep up for a lot more scrutiny and questions, because the confidence isn't there.
Absolutely.
So when I talk about the whole experience, that's really it. It's from the initial touch to when the salesman gets there to make their thing, whatever it is. In that process in between, we tend to forget and just blame it on the sales guy.
Yeah, I 100%. And they were set up for failure from the get-go. I'm right there with you. So with that being said, and the training, and we naturally heard some negative feedback on PE and what changed recently? Like, where do you see the direction of that going? I know that's,
man, it was a drought there for a while. There wasn't a whole lot of PE action, if you will, that was going on. I think yesterday, Blackstone announced that they're closing on the Champions Group, which is a huge transaction, which I think will really kind of accelerate, more of that action to happen in 26.
Do you think that
PE would have never had the opportunity to come into our business? And this is the honest truth, in my opinion. PE would have never had the opportunity to come in if we, as an industry, were doing a better job of experience and consistency with customers.
Do you see it as our industry as low-hanging fruit because we are behind on times?
It always has been. This isn't the first time. It happened in the 90s again, and we're so resistant to change. And I think that
there's 1,800 field technicians that are being purchased in this acquisition. That blows my mind.
It's crazy, and it just tells you how big the market really is. I think it's really interesting to see that what it's done to the industry. I think it's done good and bad. Like, I don't think it's all bad. I think it's put a lot of awareness. I think it's caused us to up our game. Definitely, in the experience wise and in technology, our industry has always kind of been the last one to move, especially when it comes to technology. Like, we're so resistant to the new thing and this and that until it's forced upon us.
Does PE move forward faster or slower than the privately owned? What are you seeing?
As far as like technology, I think they test everything. I think that if it makes dollars and cents, they test it. I think that they don't take into account the employees as much into the decision making.
Okay.
If that's good or bad, that could be good or bad, right? Like, I mean, I can tell you when we went to Service Titan in 2016, when we onboarded, it was like we had just ruined everybody. Like, all the techs hated it. I'm not using it. I think we had 3 people quit. We had, rejections, this and that. And it's like, And that was a very tough transition for us. And now it's become kind of the industry standard, you know, where everybody likes it, you know.
But like there's technicians that will quit if you aren't on ServiceTitan. Like they're like, I'm so used to ServiceTitan. Like they go in a
they want their dashboard. They want to track their metrics, right? And if it's not the same as the way the other company was, you know, then it's a big deal. I think that it's been this way the entire time. You know, it was like, oh, we went from time and material to flat rate, right? Yeah. That was like, oh, I'm not using this. This is ripping the customer off, this and that, you know.
I still talk to people that say that.
And it's sometimes there needs to be a chief and sometimes there needs to be an Indian. And whether that's right or wrong, right, you know, and whether the decision gets made, but you know, PE is just operates differently, right? They expect more out of the business. Like, I think the one thing that really was a good thing is it showed operators that you can make 10 to 20, even 30% net earnings in a service business. Yeah. When I was growing up, at 2 to 5% was like the average. Like that's what people made, and that was okay. You made, you know, a nice little salary a year, a little bit of profit, and had a boat, went on vacation, and had a great family. Now it's like, wow, you can actually make this like an enterprise. Yeah. And I think that's some of the good stuff that if you put your ego aside for a second and realize that, you know, maybe they did it better than us in some things, right? And structured in that. And I'm not saying doing it better as in taking advantage of customers, because there's this mentality that PE takes advantage of customers, and maybe some do. I know some regular owners do as well. You know, I think there's a mix around. I think that there are more structured businesses, and the more structured your business is, the faster and better can grow with more profits.
How does the privately owned companies, how do they benefit from this?
How do they benefit? I know how they can win.
How?
Okay, so one thing that a weakness that private equity has, okay, is in my opinion, and maybe some are different, some are not, but because they're such a tightly wound, structured organization, they can't be themselves, and they can't have this identity that plays really well on social media. So if you really want to beat private equity in your market, okay, learn how to expose your market with organic content, with social media of your.
Justin, did I lose you? I think I lost you, Justin. Oh no!
Oh no! That was the private equity people. They were like, cut the cord. Yeah. Cut the cord. They got to cut it now.
The last thing that I heard was on your social media.
Funny, right? It's Blackstone cutting the cord. You know, they're like, no, we can't have this. But really, it's to put your heart on social media and your brand, and people still want to do business with local people that, you know, that know your story. That, you know, there's still a percentage of people that that they will choose you over them. Here's the most important thing, though, is you got to show up when you say you're going to, and you got to be structured if you're going to compete, right? You can't just take off Saturday and Sundays and not answer any phone calls and expect to be a service business.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. It's like you can't just turn your phone off at 5. Like people expect you to be a service business, right?
So that's a good point too, because they're, especially if somebody's experienced it. I would say, you know, they can't have all bad experiences because they wouldn't be in business anymore. Like they have to be providing a good experience to the client. And once they've experienced that, they're only going to be so patient with a locally owned company just because they're locally owned.
And here's where it's really become competitive. And that's why I'm kind of on this mission to tell people, like, stop focusing only on the emergency, because private equity is going to win on the emergency customers. Okay. They have much deeper pockets than you. Okay. They're going to be able to bid you out. They're going to have people that answer the phone all the time in an instant. They're going to cycle through. Like, that's a very competitive space to compete with. So if you want to compete with, in this nature, right, you have to go and build a relationship with your community and your brand, and start building these relationships before the point of failure, so they never get to there. And that's really the ground that everybody should focus on. But we're so tied as an industry. Even our sales training, everything in our sales training tells us how to sell a customer units and options when it's broken. Well, what if it's not broken?
Yeah.
Why not have a conversation about preventative maintenances for HVAC and preventative replacements? Why
So
now in the off season is a better time to replace than in the future?
Mhm.
Right?
Do you feel like we still need to be doing 2 visits a year? Or because
I think it depends on the market you're in. I think
Yeah.
it's the seasonality and things like that.
Mhm.
I like 2 visits a year because I know that, anytime my tech goes into the home is when I can possibly generate revenue. And if he doesn't go in the home, I don't have a chance to.
Mhm.
So I like to give my guys the chance to go in there and do it. If you're continually losing money for every call, if the excuse is, well, why not 1 instead of 2? Because it costs more in overhead, right? Is that your basis of the argument?
Yeah. Mhm.
Well,
That's my thought. I mean, that's the argument that's presented.
Well, then you're not doing a good job of explaining to consumers why now is better than the future and why preventative is better than a breakdown. And
do you feel like we went through a spell of where we prematurely changed out systems?
Oh, there's pull through. Yeah.
During COVID?
For sure.
Like we're feeling those now, or do you think that's already gone past?
It kind of started in late 23, went through 24 and 25. Honestly, I think everybody's trying to make excuses up for no, and I'm just being serious. There is a part of that, but I think the bigger aspect is 20 to 30, sometimes 35% of the housing, the units that we replace is the housing market units that aren't happening because of home sales not happening. And I think that's a bigger chunk than a pull through. Okay. I think that's an easier in my mind to justify the equipment sales down is, well, most, some markets, 20, 30, 35% of all HVAC boxes sold in residential replacement add-ons is because of transaction of a home. Okay. And we don't have that. Like it's virtually gone. Okay. So there's your hole in my opinion. Like,
Well, okay. So
I think that's a much bigger hole than this pull through model.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your thoughts on the PE buying houses?
There are certain markets. I
like
blame
Florida, like
some
Orlando.
I would blame it on that, and like Las Vegas. Las Vegas, extremely competitive, very difficult market. I think Invitation Home owns 54% of single families in Vegas, right?
Oh, I didn't realize
one of the largest percentages in aggregate. Huge amount of single family homes there. But recently found out Phoenix is like their number 2, but we have extreme success in Phoenix and not in Vegas. And I'm not saying we don't have success. It's just not as easy of a market. I think the competition with the number of PEs are there. And it's just a different dynamics of the market. I think there's, each market is a little different. I don't see a big problem as far as the replacement add-ons. Like, I don't know who's doing all that work though. And maybe somebody knows. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's got that contract to do it, but how well are they paying? Right. In this and that. There's still a ton of homes. There's still an opportunity for anybody to create a service business if you do good work and grow it. The one thing PE was really good at was accelerating growth. Okay. If you just take the normal track of 10 to 30% year over year growth and grow a nice little business and a lifestyle business, you still have the same opportunities you did before. Where PE comes in is they accelerate the growth patterns year over year so they can get an exit, right? That's really what they want to do is they want to come in, grow an organization, grow the EBITDA margin, whether that through acquisitions or organic growth through it fast. So then in, 3 to 7 years, they can turn around and sell it for a higher multiple than what they bought it. And I think that you'll see some of those happen again. And I just think there was an opportunity for them to come in and we should really think twice about shoring up our base to make sure it doesn't happen again. Or
do you think that they're going to leave?
Where else are these companies going to retire and sell to? Like, there's this argument that like we hate PE, but like, okay, so you have no sons or family that want to take over this business, or they don't want to because they saw your life of how busy and hard it was.
Yeah.
And like, well, who are you going to sell it to? You're just going to close the shop and have, what are you going to do with your business? So
they brought in some generational wealth as well.
They did. And it's not all bad, right?
Right. No, I agree.
I think a lot of it is ego and somebody doing it better than them. People get offended.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Okay, so let's transition a little bit to. I mean, it's not much of a transition because we're going to talk a little bit about AI and AI voice. So, I love AI voice. I also see its downfall, its restraints. I see it abused already. Like I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to come. It's already been abused. I have not. I don't know where my name got added to a database, but I have not applied for $150,000 loan. But I get 12 calls a day from AI bots saying we're in our loan processing underwriting stage of your loan application. Click 2 to accept or whatever. And I'm on a do not call registry. I didn't sign up for you to call me. I have not applied for that loan. It was a different thing a month ago or 2 months ago, and now it's this loan thing that they're doing. That's against the law. And not only that, I've told these people this too, if I was in the market to get a loan for $150,000, I sure as hell wouldn't get it from you. At this point in my life, I will never get it from you.
I think that it's wise to break down AI calling as two things, right? There's inbound and there's outbound.
Yes.
Right. Like there's answering and there's outbound. And I claim to be no expert in AI voice by any stretch of the means. I have kind of avoided it. I've dabbled in it here and there. I hear the most success I hear with AI voice is in the answering of overflows and overnight calls and things like that. I think that I have not seen a answering service myself personally, or listened or used or interacted with one that I found would make me proud of having behind my business personally. Now, maybe I just haven't gotten out and heard enough. And I know there's one, there's a big company out in the Midwest that's promoting one, this and that. I called around to their branches to kind of test it because I always try and see, I don't want to make an assumption without testing it. And I can tell you, I was not impressed with it, and it's advancing so fast. I think that the promise is there. I think that AI, answering is probably going to be better than outbounding to begin with. I think that the big thing that we've got to talk about is compliance when it comes to AI, because just because somebody opted into your business doesn't mean they opted in to give you consent to reach them through AI outbounding. Okay. There are specific
which ones can and can't do that.
If you haven't updated your compliance on either your whether it be your service tickets, whether your contracts or your website or any of that, your privacy policy, any of that, they haven't accepted those terms. And there's a separate explicit consent that's required to be, to called through AI devices. You have
is it state specific or is it?
It's very explicit, right? And and in the B2B sense, they're legal because then they can pretty much, the B2B space is pretty wild. You're allowed to call anybody without express written consent because it's business. But B2C, oh my gosh, you get sued all the time. I know tons of people that just SMS violations get, the $1,500 per incident demand letters to be paid off, or it goes to a class action suit. And there's been multiple class action suits for people I know of and have heard of everybody because they violate these terms. And
that's crazy. And
Hand-Span Act came in, and then the texting guys got out there, and then they start ruining it. And then the AI voice is going to be this huge new thing, and it's very intrusive. So we actually came up with a software, and we have a product launching actually this week. It's called Opti. And what it does is it takes your Service Titan and links it with whether you're in Go High Level or any other external messaging platform. And if somebody says stop in the external messaging platform, it updates Go High Level or Service Titan, and then it updates Service Titan with Go High Level. So you're syncing your do not calls, right? So the other thing we do is we run all the contacts through a do not call list registry for the state and federal. We run it through a known litigator list of these people that are constantly suing people. So they'll actually engage with your business on purpose. Okay. And we have a list of known people and numbers that they use, so we can stop them before it actually happens.
That's crazy.
But the
Like,
biggest
that's their
one that
career.
we've seen is we see companies that text people after they said they've stopped, like they just hit their marketing list every time. You know, they send up blast text. Well, we see the reviews pop up in Google. Like one negative review on Google can impact your business, like for rankings on SEO, for future business, and it kills you. So we've created this software. It's really cool. And we'll talk about it more as time goes on. But if you're on ServiceTitan and you use any external things like messaging, whether that be Go High Level or any other platforms, like definitely, you know, message me on Facebook if you want to see it, because I can tell you that it also integrates with creating the contacts inside ServiceTitan, so you don't have to manually do it. Like it's a full API integrate between the two. And I think in the coming in April, there's another law that's coming out that says if somebody opts out of text messages, that means you can't call them or anything else, right? It's opt out of all channels. So there's some more compliance stuff that's coming down the pike that we really believe that this will be really helpful for, because you really don't want to be wasting your time either dialing through outbounding, or dialing through outbounding somebody who says, don't engage with me for business. It's a waste of time and reputation. So, you know,
but that's like I said about the mortgage company that's calling me.
Yeah, it's just a waste of time.
Use that company. I would never use that company
ever.
And it'd be the same way for the consumer. I'm sure the consumers feel that way about a home service company. Like
I'm 100% sure. Like I see the people that do it, and you know, and the reason why this really came about was like we saw it happening to our clients. We saw it, you know, that clients would use, you know, 3 or 4 different messaging softwares, and they'd message people, or the outbound calling. Like it works really well if you have a call center and you make lists of people to call. Well, number one, you want to make sure it's not a reassigned phone number, right? You want to make sure that it's not on the state or the federal do not call list, because you can get fined for that. And you're not going to have much success wasting the time to outbound call somebody who's on those lists. You're going to get an angry homeowner who's going to answer that phone. I'm on the do not call list, blah, 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 or they're not going to answer. So it's about efficiency there. So instead of taking your list, importing into some bulk thing and waiting for it to come back, and importing it here and checking all these different things and then re-importing it back in, this is a software that kind of lives in the software piece, that every new lead that comes in, it cleans, and every old lead you had cleans, and then it organizes everything and sanitizes your data. So at any time you can pick a list, and you know the list that you're grabbing is clean, compliant, and can, you know, have the most effectiveness. And I'm
curious if there's a way to search all of your numbers, like as a business, and because it's contractors do it all the time. I've done it myself, where you sign up for one platform and your phone number is listed there.
Oh my goodness,
with a different phone number, and you have like a certain phone number here, or you change VoIP systems and you have these phone numbers over here, and then but this VoIP system over here still does some random text messages that you've forgotten about, that you automation that you set up and then left that platform, but still have. Like it just happens. Is there a way for you to find those phone numbers, or you really need to be doing your due diligence?
I think the number one thing is, if you haven't got a demand letter, you haven't been sued, and you send text messages and outbounding, like just be prepared that it's coming. Okay. Because we're seeing it, like the intensity of it is happening. The more you do and the longer you do it, it will happen. You're going to hit somebody and piss somebody off, and they're going to do it. Now, if you hit somebody and they say, please don't contact me again, they're not going to sue you typically. But if you continue to do that 2 or 3 times after, that's when the suits come, or the demand letters, or this or that, or the bad reviews that come from it. So, you know, compliance regulation, TCPA, you're supposed to keep a list of when they opted in, okay, how they opted in, and what that timestamp is. And because if you don't have an actual running list of when they opted in, or this or that, okay, and you do get, TCPA does come after you, you have no defense, right? Like none. You're supposed to be keeping a compliance log of your records. And email was sort of intrusive. Text messaging was really intrusive. AI calling is going to be extremely intrusive. And here's the thing: it's done by robots, right? So it's like There's no human managing it. So what if somebody opts out of AI here? There is no human to put it back on the list and server side and say, hey, don't call that number again, right? There needs to be this piece in between. So we believe we've done a really good job at creating that. We believe that we're going to have many, many integrations as time goes on. And it's really, truly a boring software that serves a great purpose for contractors to keep it organized, because, you know, everybody thinks about the big dangers in business. Oh, you burn someone's house down or this or that. Nobody thinks that they're going to get a class action lawsuit of 6 people that could take down your business because you accidentally texted the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like, nobody thinks that's the way they're going down, but like the reality is it's happened. Like,
we're worried about the technicians driving
sales, the jeweler out, right? The jewelry store. They almost got taken down. Like, there's real estate companies. Berkshire Hathaway almost got taken down by TCPA class suits. Yeah.
That's crazy. And were those over AI, or was that pre-AI?
No, that was just straight texting. That was just texting and calling. They were also outbound calling people that were on the register, do not call list. So, you know, compliance is a big area that we feel is a needed thing, because look,
why is this so new? Like, why are you just like, why is like,
we kind of created this product because we're seeing it happening. Like, as more and more volume goes out and we deal with larger amounts of people, and as business gets more sophisticated and people understand that these laws are out here, you know, A2P DLC 10 just came out a few years ago. It took these lawyers a little bit. If you look at the fastest expanding legal vertical, it's A2P DLC 10. Like, those.
I don't know how you keep saying that, because I can't even say it.
We actually have at Upfrog, we actually have an A2P DLC 10 lawyer and team, right? We have an actual compliance team that helps us, because we deal with, you know, hundreds of thousands of contact information of customers, right? And our clients do. So we have to be advised on what, you know, the best ways to handle these things. And that's why we really kind of.
Well, I got a message from one of you guys. It's probably been like 6 months ago or something. And they're like, you got to update this part on your website. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're going to get sued if you don't. I was okay, well, never mind. Whatever you want me to do. Make sure it gets
and the biggest shame thing, like, I've got to say, is like, as we're bringing these clients up to speed and making them compliant, it takes editing their website and 2 form submissions. I just want to talk to all the web companies that are out there for the lack of enthusiasm on helping us change these things. I would appreciate it if we take the 5 to 10 minutes it would take to change a few bit of languages to protect our clients from possible lawsuits, because maybe it's a little difficult for you to change some text on a website. Like, I would just ask for a little bit of appreciation, not only from us, but anybody that's trying to help a client stay compliant. Yeah. So let that be for whatever it is. Like, some people are really great to work with. Some, I'm telling you, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get, like, and sometimes they're just combative. They say, we can't do that.
Why would they do that though? Like, they're setting themselves up.
I don't know.
That company goes bankrupt, they're going to lose them as a client.
Look, I get it. It's just, you know, you would be shocked at how much of a hurdle we have, you know, and it's like, we don't want your website client. Like, we just want to make them compliant, so, you know, they don't get sued, right? And it's not us that sets the rules. I think they think sometimes it's Upfrog that sets these rules. It's like, no, this is the carriers in Twilio that set the rules, really. And, you know, we kind of have to follow this guidance from the FTC to make sure things happen. And, you know, trust me, we don't want it either. Stuff's annoying.
Oh yeah.
I'm the last guy that ever thought he would own a compliance business ever.
I knew something was serious when Josh was educating me on it, and I was like, why are you learning about this? And he's like, it's a big deal, dude. I was like, oh,
and trust me, like, I can promise you 99.9% of the people don't have any valid defense for themselves if they were to get sued. Right? Like, they don't have any case. Like
you never hear anybody talking about it. Like, other than
everybody keeps it hush hush, or they just pay it off. Just do some searching. You'll find them. There's hundreds of them on the dockets all over the place.
Oh, I believe it. I just don't.
I mean, it's like crazy.
When you talk, hey, I need more leads, or like, how do I get social media marketing up and going? Like, that's the stuff you hear people talk about.
Yeah.
You don't really hear it. Like, let's get compliant. And
yeah, I know, and it's boring and it sucks. I know, guys, but like in gals, but it's like it's something we got to do to protect ourselves. And you just said a word that I really want to hint on, and you said lead generation. And lead generation is kind of this mindset. I want to challenge people to put it in the past.
Oh yeah,
I want to challenge people to start thinking about demand generation. Okay, lead generation is basically saying you are gathering the lead of somebody who is in the need of a service right then and there. Okay. Very, very end of funnel, very narrowly focused lead generation, right? Demand generation is creating something that wasn't there, but is going to be there, right? Demand generation. I want people to start thinking about that. Like why do you do a cars and coffee and stand out handing out things? It's to generate demand generation versus lead generation, right? Like your website and Google is very lead generation focused. Social media is more demand generated focused. You know, YouTube could be demand generated focused as well. But I really want to challenge people to think, because this is the key to really scaling and growing your business, because there's only so many leads you can get in a day. There's only so many people, you know, what they say, 5 to 7% of the market replaces their air conditioner a year. So there's only so many leads you can get, right? But how many can you generate? How many can you demand? How many can you growth and build and not manufacture, but you almost
develop a relationship with them without realizing.
I really want to challenge people this year to think about, right? Because there's this huge ocean of customers that have units that are X amount of years or older. Okay, maybe they're not going to replace it today or tomorrow, right? But how can I get my business in front of them to motivate them or to energize them to try my services or to generate this demand? Yeah. And it's not artificial. The reality is they're going to have to replace it sometime. Sure. So then make sure they're comfortable and safe with your business, so that when it does come, that maybe you could do it now, right? Why now is better than the future, or plant the seed for when it does happen, you're the only choice and they never go anywhere else.
So how do you create some engaging content?
Okay. So number one thing, you know, you put it right in a wheelhouse. Upfrog's really good at this. Pricing is probably the easiest way to do this, right? Developing curiosity for how much my system would cost in the future, right? They're so expensive now, people have to plan and budget. We know that planning budget customers about 13 to 14% higher average job ticket than emergency customers. Everybody thinks online pricing is lower ticket. It's not. I can prove it to you with data, thousands and thousands of installs, okay? When people are prepared to buy something and they plan and budget for it, they spend more money, period, end of story. Okay, especially in today's economy where people are tighter on money. If it's an emergency, they have less disposable income, okay? Come at me with the argument. I can, you know, it is what it is. The data doesn't lie. So pricing works really, really well. Okay. Because you're able to capture contact information of a prospective homeowner that has a interest, and nobody has interest in HVAC pricing unless they have an old system. Like 85% of the people that put it through are 10 years or older. Okay. That's a really good one. Another one, giveaways, really good way, right? Giveaways are really good to get interest. You need a way of branding that makes the customer do something. Do it, right? You got to do an action, right? Just watching the commercial or the video or the billboard isn't enough anymore, right? Make it engaging, make it a giveaway, make it a contest, make it pricing, make it, I don't know.
What's the best giveaway you've seen?
Man, I've seen a couple really good ones. Depends at what scale, right? Like on small local scale, I have seen people go to local restaurants and they have done a giveaway. Okay. And they do it a joint thing. So they either bring in, they say, look, you need to grow your lunchtime, people. So why don't you give away a $10 or $20 lunch gift card for your business? I'll promote it on my ads, and we'll do kind of a joint partnership where everybody enters, gets a giveaway thing, and one winner at the end gets a new unit, right? You get the distributor to give the unit, and now you've got the added benefit of winning that. Plus you're getting a free $10 lunch thing where somebody's going to spend $50 in the guy's local restaurant. So double bang for your buck, double exposure. Like, you know,
you can share the audiences with each other.
And to win the unit, right? You get massive amounts of contact information. You're building local brand authority. You know, so there's those things. You can make it really simple.
You know, I seen one time Billy gave away plungers at a fair at the
That's how he started his business, I believe. I don't know for sure. I think I listened to him one time and he talked about it, and that like jump started his list, right?
Crazy. Yeah.
Give the customers a way to experience your business before they actually purchase from you.
Yeah.
By talking to them on the phone, texting them, calling them, talking to them, do a tune-up, do those things, right?
But it takes effort. Like it's not something you can just automate. Like,
no,
and you're talking to the automation guy. Like,
here's the problem. Okay. A lot of business owners do not have faith in their employees that they will convert. They're the same people that say, I've got to charge $129 for a tune-up. The reason why they do that is because they do not believe that their employees will pay for themselves going in for a low-cost tune-up.
You're saying that they need that in your opinion, they should be going in with a loss leader. And then
I wouldn't even say it's a loss leader, because if they generate the revenue off of it, then it's not a loss leader, right?
I call it a loss leader, but
I get it, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I'm not saying be manipulative. Like, there's some people that say, oh, those free tune-ups are, just a way to strong arm people and lie to them and this and that. Sure, probably there's people that do that. Okay.
Right.
But most of the time what happens is they come in, they do an extremely thorough tune-up. They bring the finance to the homeowner and say, look, here's the reality. Okay. Your unit is X numbers of years old. Here's what a new one would cost now. Here's what they cost 2 years ago. Look at the price increase. Okay. Electricity isn't getting any cheaper, this and that. Okay. We've got our best installing crew that can do the job on Saturday, whenever, make it convenient, right? And explain to them why now is better than the future. Defer financing for 18 months. That's working really well right now. And really engaging that conversation.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate there. What about people who argue that the having a $49 tune-up, who are not going to convert, they're not going to do anything because they don't have anything other than $49, and they just looked up and found you?
I'm going to try and be as friendly as possible here. Most of the people that
I'm playing devil's advocate.
If you have that situation, and you're booked out for 2.5 weeks straight with jobs, no problem.
Right.
But it's
you ain't got calls on the board.
But if you ain't got calls on the board, I'm sorry, guys. Like I love my employees, and the only way I know my employees can generate revenue is getting you into a home. Sure, you're going to have some cheapskates and some good ones and some bad ones. Okay. That's just the name of numbers. Okay. I think that the voice. So just diving into this rabbit hole just for a second. Do you recommend, or have you ever done an analysis on specific clients? Like, say, when we run this special, this client always picks us and never converts. Okay. All right. So I did a study on this like a year or two ago with I don't know, 10,000 jobs we took of this one particular company. And we did it. It was a tune-up study. We did complimentary, 19, 29, 49, 89, and 129. Okay. For the replacement rate of that customer, so the numbers of units per tune-ups that they sold, okay, 1 in 4, and it didn't matter whether it was free or $129. Okay. Now, where the difference comes in, okay, the replacement ratio of calls per replacement, because that's one thing we look at. How many calls do they have to run before they get a replacement out of it?
Yeah.
Now, where we notice the big difference, and this is the big argument, because some people don't market tune-ups, right? They just do tune-ups to their existing base. And that's great. Now I can understand the 129, this and that. I get that whole model. But if you are going out to acquire new customers and you think that it's going to be cheaper to acquire new customers at $129 a pop versus $19 a pop, you are sadly mistaken, because the cost per acquisition is sometimes 600 times higher for a tune-up that's over $49.
Really?
Yes. And the average job ticket doesn't vary between the two. Okay.
And
because it's not a deal.
Okay.
And rich people like deals too, guys. Like everybody's trying to, get a deal, right? Like,
okay. So let me hold it. Let me ask about this. What's your thoughts on like a no charge consultation fee or diagnostic?
A diagnostic? I don't think there should be any charge, personally.
So it's a $0 diagnostic.
I mean, this is just what I've seen work in the market, right? Like I know that, $99 diagnostic. Oh, you're outside our travel area. You got to send more. No, because you ain't getting rich on $99, guys.
Well, there's some technicians, and I've experienced.
They think that it's going to refine their call. Okay, that's the other big problem that we have in our industry right now. And there's these, and I'm going to try and be as polite as possible because there's this group.
I'm getting fired up here.
Elitists, right? And they try and highly overqualify a call before they even get there. Okay, so we only want a customer that lives in this zip code, that drives 3 cars, that has this, that has 2 dogs, a blue house, an orange thing. Like, no, okay, like you guys are missing it, right? Like it's about how many new customers can you do business with in your market. And here's what you need. I'm going to be very frank here. You need $100,000 household income, and you need a 650 to 680 credit score. That's all you need. And you can finance anything for $15,000. Okay. That's all you need, guys. Like everybody says, you got to go to the high dollar areas, this and that. No, you don't. That's where all the competition is. You just need $100,000 annual income in the house and a 680 credit score, and you can sell every home service that's out there.
Yeah. No, I agree with
you. People just, they want to feel good about an 80% close, but they can only grow at 10% a year. They can't figure it out, right? And it's like, well, sometimes the best growth model is a 35% close rate. Maybe you shouldn't close at 50%. Maybe that's not the most efficient. Because you're trying to outthink the system. I think every call that has a 10-year-old unit is good. And I believe in the ability in good techs because I have seen it happen. Now, some people that haven't experienced or watched a company that can convert customers ethically, at a high rate of cold traffic in that. Maybe you haven't seen that, or maybe you're just not used to it, or maybe you're just used to selling to your existing customers, and that's great too. Whatever business model floats your boat, but if you really want hyper growth, you just need a couple things, right? You need as many leads as you can, of new customers, You need to lower the burden to get into the door. You need to make it easy for them to do business with you, and you need to make it pleasant when they're there. Yeah. And you make it feel as safe as possible, and then give them payment options. And it's really that simple. But
do you because you see this nationwide?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this would work in every area? Like, because I have a friend of mine that's in like South Florida, and he's like, man, you ain't getting nothing. These guys are doing change outs for a case of beer.
South Florida is an interesting one. It's the problem with Florida and the South Florida market is the average job ticket for replacements is historically low. Not like Northern Florida. Northern Florida does much better. Mostly because they have more single family homes, I believe, than the condos and things like that in the southern end.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but like a couple of years ago, he was like, if you're over $3,500, I was like, what? Like that's the cost of equipment. Like,
it's pretty sad down there, but I can tell you, I've got contractors that are running in Florida right now, and their average job ticket's 12, 13,000, which is phenomenal. So it can be done, right? Like,
no, I agree.
I think that, Florida is a really interesting market. I think the home warranty companies have a very, very deep entrenchment there.
Oh yeah.
In there. So you have to be careful sometimes with that. It really going to depend. Like there's certain areas that I would just can't be done in, right?
Have you ever pursued or tried to make money working for home warranty companies?
I know I have some friends that grew some really big businesses, or I've known some acquaintances. I know Paris Services, a couple of people in Northern Virginia, that they built their customer base off of those types of models.
Were they large already to get started? Like
no, it was a start from the ground up. They did really, really well. These are guys that they just needed a lead source.
Yeah.
And as long as you treat it, like, they want to be choosy, right?
Yeah.
They're basically running free service calls. I think they got paid $6 or something to go to them. Okay.
Yeah.
But they needed to build a customer base, and they knew that, there was volume, because volume negates luck.
Well, also, if you think about it this way, like if you're paying $200, $300 for customer acquisition. And
that's cheap these days.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. And or you could do a home warranty call for free, but they don't charge you anything for the lead. The only thing is when those people keep renewing.
Yeah, and it worked great. You know, in 2001, my father got us involved with Home Depot's at-home services. You know, we had 14 different stores in the Mid-Atlantic. We were great. There was a 6.5% royalty that we paid to them, and that was lower than any acquisition cost to acquire a new company, and it was great. The program grew phenomenally. Over the years, that program has changed. I don't know what it is currently, but when we left, it was a 12 to 15%, plus you had to put lead generators in the store, which ended up being a 17 to 22% cost per acquisition of a customer. Now, that's really expensive, right? Like, you know, ideally, you want to spend 10% of top line revenue on new generation of customers if 50% of your business comes from existing and 50% are new customers. And that's going to give you a 5% marketing at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So if it really, you know, people always ask, like, what should I spend in marketing? Well, number one, how much money did you do last month? Right. And how many of those customers did you do business with were existing? What's your blend? If it's 70-30, right, new to existing, right, the younger your business is, the more you have to spend in marketing if you want to grow it fast, or the more you have to spend in effort, right? Whether that's, you know, community engagement, whether it's, you know, you have to do something, right? Yeah, exactly. And the more active you are and more efficient, the better it is. But, you know, typically you want to spend 10% of the job value in marketing. And if you have that's
the current job value or the job or the number that
to make it real simple, like if your job average is let's say $15,000 for an HVAC install, you can spend $1,500 to acquire as many installs as you want. Okay. And that's 10% of that job value. But if 50% of your jobs in your business come from your existing customer base where there is no marketing involved in getting that customer, it just comes from you, right? That's going to blend down on your P&Ls to a 5% overall marketing.
Okay.
So that's really cheap. Now you see all these people, well, I only spend 5% on marketing. Yeah, because your granddaddy started the business back in 1905. Okay. Like there's certain advantages that a customer base has, right? So if you're, you know, first 5 years in business, boy, it's about grinding, man. I know people that spend 25% to grow a base, right? Like there is, there's no easy and cheap way around it, right? It just isn't, right? Especially in today's environment. You either pay the piper through a relationship where you don't own the customer, like insurances, and I don't have a bunch of experience there, right?
I don't know a ton of people who do. I know a couple of people who had some success with it.
I know some people that have grown. They're $5, $6, $7 million now and just started a year or two ago. That are doing well, right? There's definitely a system,
but they're not only doing home warranty stuff like that. They use home warranty to get the customer.
No, they're doing that as like a supplement.
Yeah. There was one that I seen. I met several years ago, and they were doing 1.4 million a year that's what they got paid from the home warranty company. I was like, dang, you must be hustling.
You know, my hesitancy has been this is I don't know anybody or a situation where a customer was happy with the experience of a home warranty after a failure.
And then
now I do know the companies that are involved have the worst reviews online.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're the ones that get the brunt of it is the contractor, even though I had one, this is a long time ago, with TriStar, and it wasn't a home warranty company issue. It was a rental property issue. And the owner of the home would not approve for the property management company to pay to have a water heater replaced. And then they gave me a 1-star review because I didn't change the water heater. I was like, I didn't have any control over that. Like,
that's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
They went to two other people before me.
And, you know, and you think that home warranties would be something of the past, you know, but they keep popping up in new.
Well, people should know, but I think they pay off realtors or something.
The only way I've gotten one is I bought a house and the real estate agent gave me one time, and I never used it. I never even thought I had it. Like
we did that one time. We did that, and we were like, you know what? let's try it and see.
How was it?
Horrible. Horrible. Like the worst, like exactly what you would imagine is exactly what it was. It was a 3-week delay on this guy to come out to look at. I don't even remember what it was.
3 weeks?
Washing machine. Yeah.
3 weeks?
Yeah. And I was like, nah, bro. Like, I'm too mechanically inclined. Like,
yeah. Actually, I would just go buy a new washer and dryer for that. You know, I mean,
it might not have been a washer, but it was something. Dishwasher. That's what it was. It was a dishwasher. And I was like, I don't feel like getting underneath the sink. I don't feel like doing all that sort of stuff. And I don't wash dishes, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, we dealt with that, and it was horrendous. And then they were like, yeah, unfortunately we have to go back and get approval to get this part. I was like, bro, just leave it unscrewed. I'll slide it out and I'll put the part on there. That's what I think I ended up doing.
Looking at it this year, you know, I have been pleasantly surprised actually the last 6 months or so with the volume of work still going on. You know, I always have these thoughts for a day or two that like, damn, is the economy just going to collapse or this or that? Like, I'm still seeing a hell of a lot of revenue flowing through, whether it be roofing, garage doors, like we see it. And I think that a lot of times industries have up and down weeks. And what's so freaking fascinating to me is if we have a week that's really, really good, everybody in the country does. It's so fascinating how these cycles like flood.
Why is that?
I can't explain it. Like, I don't know. Like, there's these like waves where it's like, we'll see it. And then like, wow, everybody sold this week. And then like, then you'll see it kind of dip for a week. And then, you know, and then it's like this dance. It's like orchestrated for some reason. Like I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but I have been pleasantly surprised at the resilience of the economy. Okay. I think that it's been the stabilization of like inflation kind of holding steady now for 2 years, you know, and it's starting to cap out a little bit. I just thought more doom and gloom was coming. Like, I had a feeling maybe it would get really, really bad, especially last fall. It looked bad, man. Like, it was not looking really strong, but I'm seeing some really good numbers, you know, for February and first quarter that I haven't seen. And maybe it's not everywhere, but
if we could get the interest rate to drop way down, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. You know, maybe one, maybe two, but you know, I don't, unless some really big surprise happens, I don't see that happening. I think that
it's a selfish reason for me. I want to build a shop next door. And I just want this interest rate to drop.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be a massive shop. It'll be a massive shop.
They're never big enough, right? My dad built like a 60 by 40, and like 6 months into it, after we're done, we're like, damn, we should have put an 80 up.
What size is yours?
I think my father's is a 60 by 40, and and it's never big enough. We just filled it up, and the attic and space upstairs, everything's filled, and it's like, oh my gosh.
So mine that I have laid out already is 60 wide by 120 long and 2 stories. So that way I can put a car lift in there. I got a limo that's jacked up. Like, I have a limo on 53-inch mud tires. So,
man, tough problems to have, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
First world problems.
What's your thoughts on 26? Like, are you kind of bullish? Or are you kind of like, what are your thoughts?
Really, honestly, I don't know. Like, I hate to be reactive. But every time I thought something was going to go one way, I ended up like, I was never like super doom and gloom, but I thought that it wasn't going to get where it got. But at the same time, as soon as I'm like, all right, things are kind of wild, like, it sucks, and then all of a sudden we just pop up and there's money, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And so, like, I don't know, I honestly, and not only that, my head has been in the sand so much because of building out Phone Tap, working on that, and it's been a really exciting process. Like, it sucked because we spent so much money, and then had to scrap the project halfway through, like halfway through last year. We had to scrap it because our developers were just building garbage.
Welcome to software. It takes way longer than you thought and costs way more money than you thought.
Way more. Yeah. So like what we thought was going to be able to be at least on the market, like to beta users in 6 months, has been 18 months now.
Wow.
And we now have beta users on it. So
well, I gotta get with you. I definitely want to see what that's all about. You know, I'm excited.
I'm
to see
excited to share it because like every time, like we meet at least, I mean, we meet all day, every day via text message, but we have like a co-founders meeting every Friday. And every Friday it's like, oh man, like it's like all of our forces have joined together on Friday, and we're like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like what Bill's been doing is cool. What Josh has been doing is cool. And so it's pretty fun, and we're actually moving at very fast pace at the moment. And the thing about it is AI is so crazy. Like on one hand, I really think AI should be regulated better, or at all. And on the other hand, I don't want it to, because right now I can make products super fast. I can do things
pretty crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy wild. But at the same time, man, like I generated, this was last year, the beginning of last year, I generated Josh's voice and shared it on social media, on Facebook. Like it was an audio clip of him talking about how amazing of a person I am. Like literally, it's like, I don't know where I would be if I'd never met Tersh. Like I would just be lost. And like I just went on and on and on. It was probably like a solid 5 minutes audio recording, and it was all done on 11 Labs.
Wow.
And he said, did you pieced all that together? I was like, heck no, you give me way too much credit. I took a 30-second snippet of your voice and I made sure it was not a high quality with the Shure microphone. I made sure that it was a grainy recording from a video off of social media that I scraped it off of there, because I wanted to prove a point. It caught all of his inferences, like where he takes his breath and things like that. Oh yeah. And then that's
scary.
Oh, terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Like, can you imagine? Like, so for me, like every now and then my grandma picks up my kids from school, and like she drives a vehicle that's a bubble. Like you can see inside of it. No tinted windows or anything like that. But you can imagine if she was driving like a vehicle like mine, which is pitch black, you can't see anything inside of it.
Same with mine.
And somebody pulls up there and she calls them and says, hey, I'm in this black car over here that you can't see in the windows. And the kids are like, oh, I don't know, Grandma, that's not your car. And they're like, yeah, but I had to borrow it from a friend, so come get in my car.
Isn't that wild?
The kids get in the car with you. That's why, dude, I've been talking about this for 2 years now. You got to have a safe word for the family. Like if you're something goofy, like you're like, I don't know, this conversation is kind of weird. Like you're on a phone call with a family member. You're like, hey, what's the safe word, by the way? And obviously, if they're not inside the family, they shouldn't know it. And
it's pretty scary. Like there's really no guardrails. Like
it's not really. Other than AI voice outbounding, apparently.
Yeah. No. I hope everybody just really, you know, if my words of encouragement would be, if you're running out of, like, if you're looking for what's next or what's new, like think about the concept of demand generation. Like how can I love that. Don't wait for the leads to come to you, like through your traditional sources, things like that. Like what can I do to generate my own demand in that? And I think
people who are like, oh, they listen to this and they're like, oh man, I'm already busy as it is. Now I need to go develop.
You know, if you're already busy as you are, like kudos to you. Just do more of it or make it more efficient or hire more people.
Not necessarily making money right now. I'm just busy. You know what I mean? Like busy's not necessarily good. But
man, you know, that there's so much to unpack with just that one statement. Like a lot of people, you know, it depends on what stage you are. A lot of people are in that stage where like they're trying to make the leap from doing everything to delegating to some people and to get to that next level. And I can tell you, it's a
delegation by abdication,
incredibly hard, challenging, like personal thing to do, right? Like as a business owner, I always do it best, right? Nobody does it like me. And letting go of that, who oftentimes, because you're handling customers that are your friends, families, people like that, you know, that you know personally, you sit next to in church.
Sure.
Is this person that I don't know that I just hired, is he going to be the guy that's going to take care of Aunt Betty down the street that we've known for 5 years and our kids played and this and that? Like having the confidence to do that.
But here's the thing. They may do a way better job than you, because
where that humility comes in.
Perfect example is the podcast. Like I had my hands in it for years and years, and then we brought on our team, and they do an amazing job. They do way better than me, and like
that's one of those things that unless you experience it, you can't explain it.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've gone through them myself. Like I've gone through, like with Upfrog and all the other businesses. Like, you know, it's hard. You know, you let it go, and then sometimes you just have to bite your lip and just watch it. And you know,
allow people to make.
Guys say 80% is good enough. 80% not done by me is good enough, right? Like, okay.
I mean, that's Dan Martell's.
It is, you know, and it's true. You know, I think, you know, humility, you know, and really, you know, what do you want, right? What do you want out of your business? Do you want to be busy all the time, or do you want freedom, or do you want, like, it really depends. Yeah. If you want to be rich, then, you know, you ain't going to do it by just yourself. You know, you need other people to do work for you.
Otherwise you got a fancy job. And
exactly.
Oh man. So honestly, we could talk for hours. But I do need to wrap it up because I got kids going to school.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's always great to chat with you. And I wish Josh was here. I truly hope that his doggo, you know, whatever happened.
He texted me a few minutes ago and said that they're still doing tests on her. So,
oh man.
Yeah, that sucks. But if
anybody wants to know about Opti, because we're not really publicly out with it, this is like the first public statement we've actually made. I didn't even tell Josh about it until about an hour or two ago. You know, simply message me on Facebook, LinkedIn, anything like that, you know, and I'll send you over some info, things like that. And it'll be up on our profile, and we'll have a website, and we'll have an announcement and all that stuff coming. But really, at the end of the day, right, Upfrog has never worked better than what it is right now, right? For garage doors, roofing, and HVAC. The update that Facebook did is just, it's where to be in paid media right now. And then Opti is just simply an integration between Service Titan and Go High Level right now that syncs everything, customers, you know, everything, as well as do not call list, cleans your phone list, organizes it. We even take, if your office entered in the phone number and put it in landline instead of cell number, we even organize that for you, because we can tell what type of phone number it is. Like even little stuff, which hurts your texting, because now you're trying to text the landline, so you get an error, and then you can hurt your reputation score. So there's tons of things, and there'll be more about it coming in the future. But it's one of those tools that indirectly is going to save a lot of people and protect a lot of people for an upcoming danger, especially with this new AI expansion coming. We see it as a big thing to have a good, clean, prepared list ready to roll.
Yeah, 100%. Cool, buddy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Always good to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who are still with us, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you found value in this, please share it with your friends and family. And if you enjoyed this conversation, give us a 5-star review. I don't ask for that.
Ooh,
I haven't done that in a hot minute. But yeah, I appreciate it. And for those who don't realize this, this podcast wouldn't be possible without Justin and his team, because Upfrog they've been there from day one with us and help partner with the podcast. But again, buddy, I appreciate you.
Always great to talk with you. Thanks, Tersh.
All right, dude. See you.
Hey, buddy. Bye.